Hello and welcome back to the Shine and Thrive Photography Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Monica. Today is a bit of a quicker, shorter episode. There was a lesson that I relearned recently when I was shooting 2 sessions this season, and I wanted to just bring it over to you so you can also have this reminder, or if you've never thought about it this way, this could be a really interesting perspective shift. So here's the deal. Back in June, I photographed an engagement session, which was so freaking magical and epic, and one of my favorite sessions in my 13 years. I can't say it's my favorite. I've had so many incredible sessions, but it's up there where it's when I think back in 20 years, when I'm looking back at my career, whenever that is, it's that one will definitely stand out to me. And the photos I got there, it was so incredible. But the thing is, what broke my heart is, and I knew this going into the session, I knew this when I booked the couple for their wedding, is that the groom, he just wants to be a bit more private just with the nature of his job. So he doesn't want any photos of him showing where you see his face. So the bride is totally okay with me showing her face, and I could even show the back of his head, which is cool. So I still get to, show something at least from that session. It's not like they both want to be private and not have their photos shown. But it just broke my heart after, when I was going through the photos, when I was finalizing them from my editor. I'm oh my God, are you serious? I cannot share all of these. So it literally broke my heart. And I think you guys all know, as photographers, how that would feel if you feel like this is some of your best work ever and you can't share it fully, right? So what I ended up doing was, I have obviously other sessions that I can photograph, other engagement sessions, and this location was so incredible. I feel so drawn to outdoor locations that have water, that have sand, beach, and this one specifically in Ontario has these insanely beautiful dunes. It's called Long Beach Point, and it's in Ontario. There's dunes, these beautiful tall trees. The sunsets there are freaking magical. And it's about a 2-hour drive from my house, 2 hours, 15 minutes. So yes, I will drive far away if it's the most beautiful location, or if the couple has a sentimental location. I'm always down for traveling, but it still is 2 hours away, and then a 2 hour, that's total 4.5 hours driving. But I fell in love with this location so much, and I also was I need to create here again so I can then share the photos that I actually created from here. There was another couple whose wedding I'm photographing in 2025. We were planning their session, and so I suggested this location, and I was I don't care. I'm just going to drive there for free. I'm not going to charge them extra for travel because I personally just want to shoot there again. And I'm and I want to use all the genius spots that I saw that I used for the session that I can't share. So what ended up happening was, when I arrived at the session, I did my best to be actually as present as I could with this next couple, right? But what ended up happening was, because I was so desperate, and this is where the lesson comes in. Sometimes when we create out of desperate energy, it could actually cut off our creativity. So what I was noticing that was happening throughout the session was, I already had in my head, I'm okay, I want to hit up this spot, this exact spot again, shoot it from this exact angle, this other spot, shoot it from this exact angle. I pretty much wanted to recreate a lot of the same photos. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I was because I knew that this scene would work beautifully. And then if I just positioned myself in the same spot and I positioned them in the same spot, I thought to myself, okay, I can then just get inspired in the moment by the couple, be present while knowing my spot that I like to shoot in, and then create epic photos for them. But this is what was throwing me off. So the difference in timing between when I first shot the other couple back in June and this one was end of July was about a 1.5 months difference of time. And when I was going to those spots that I wanted to shoot in, they just weren't working the same way. And I was just kind of like directing the couple, directing the session. But in my head, I was panicking a little because I was like, wait a second, the light isn't hitting them the same way. And of course it's not, because the session didn't actually flow in the exact same order. I didn't flow like through, it's a different day, it's a different session, it's a different couple, we're having different moments, different conversations. So of course, I'm not going to hit up the exact same spot at the exact same time. The light's not going to look exactly the same on a totally different day. So I started panicking in my head a little. And the other the other interesting thing that I noticed was, with it being a month and a half difference of when I was shooting the sessions, even the plants around, the nature, the trees looked a little bit different, because I remember there was this huge landscape shot I wanted to shoot with them standing in this open spot on top of a hill, but then there's trees surrounding them. But where they were standing, they would literally be just up against the blue sky and then trees surrounding them. So it would be such a beautiful landscape photo. But the exact same spot they were standing on, the second couple, the trees, the leaves had grown even more, and the branches had grown just that much more, that there was no open negative space for me to just have their bodies silhouetted in. So behind them was still a branch sticking out of their head, and from the side of them, and I'm like, this is not the same shot. I can't actually create the same shot. The light was hitting them differently. So I noticed in that first moment, that was like the first shot I kind of tried to recreate. I was like, wait a second, Sarah, you might actually not be, I think you need to just like be inspired of what you see now, what you see in the moment. Find new spots like that you can just see through different angles, see the light, just be present. And I told myself that, but then no, I was still so desperate. I was like, but no, like that other scene that I remember in my head, I'm like, oh, I just want to go recreate that. So I'm like, whatever, let me just try another spot. Let's go that direction. So of course, like, don't get me wrong, as I'm shooting, as we're going in between those spots I have in mind, of course, I'm still getting inspired in the present moment, and I'm getting great shots of them as we're going. But then as we go to the other next spot that I had in mind, I actually couldn't find it, because the dunes can be a little bit like, and with all the trees and everything, they could be kind of confusing on like where it was, and we were taking a different path in. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. It's just not, this place can be a little confusing of like, you can lose yourself in the little dune pathways, and I couldn't find it. And I noticed myself, I'm like, oh, I'm wasting like a minute and a half right now, panicking in my head. The couple can't see, right? But I'm panicking in my head, like, I can't find the spot. And again, the reminder, the lesson of, Sarah, maybe you're not meant to find that spot again. Like, look around you now, find the beauty. And in that moment, I did look around, I looked at them, I dropped my expectations of finding that second spot. And I was like, oh my gosh, actually, you guys stay right there. That looks incredible. Okay. And then I started like directing them a bit more, and I'm like, oh my God, this spot is beautiful. I just found a whole different angle that I didn't find on the previous session, right? So we're walking through, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to just be more accepting of, I am meant to just create differently on this session. I am dropping the desperate energy. I'm dropping the attachment to what I experienced before. I'm dropping my expectations of what I'm putting on what this session should be, quote unquote should. And so I did that, and I'm like, okay, I'm flowing through, I'm creating. And that felt so much better, so much lighter. I got to find new angles, got to be creative again. It's just such a fascinating internal battle and experience to have on a session. And I'm sure some of you listening are like, I totally get what you're saying, Sarah. Like, I get you. And then finally we went to, I'm like, still, as I'm still shooting, creating, and being present, all that stuff. Then I'm like, but you know what? In my head, I'm like, there's still that one epic spot on the beach, kind of like past the dunes, where I got this like huge landscape of the couple like walking away. And I'm going to link this in the show notes, the Instagram post that I'm talking about of like the first session, because if I'm showing the back of his head. I can share photos. So I'm going to link some of those posts from like that like dreamy poetry type session that I shot that I can't fully share. So it's going to be linked in the show notes. You could check it out right now. So there's this huge landscape photo shot that I got of them walking away. You'll see they're wearing black. And it's like pink, like warm glow sunset, and these incredible pools of water that happened on the beach, on the shoreline. And so as we're going, I told myself, I'm like, you know what, Sarah, you've been doing well, you've been present, but you might as well just try recreating again, the mind trying to trick me again. Sarah, try recreating that epic landscape beach photo again. So then we go over the dunes, we go down to the beach, I look over, and the beach looks completely different. It is not even close to the same. Like the water is not up at the level it was before. It didn't create these incredible weird like pools of water. It was just beach and then the rest of the water. It was totally different, and it looked more like a regular beach than compared to what was in the first session, where it looked like a magical beach experience with pools of water. And I'm like, Sarah, again, this is your lesson. Drop your expectations. Let go of the attachment of how the landscape was before. Be here now, because if you're not here now, you're gonna miss right what's in front of you. And that was the last moment where I was like, okay, I'm done trying to recreate any shots. I am here now for the rest of the session. I'm done. And I did that, and I dropped it. And then let me tell you, my creativity went up even higher from there. So this is just a lesson that I wanted to give back to you. And it's a reminder that I needed, right? Even with me doing this for 13 years, like there's so many times in our careers where we learn a lesson at one point, and then we bring it into our work and we evolve. And but then there's these moments in time where you need a reminder of the lesson. And this was my reminder. And I love it because that reminder served me so well, because this past weekend on Saturday, I shot a wedding at a venue that I've photographed before, maybe 3-4 times already. It's called the Great Hall in Toronto. And I'm so happy I took that lesson with me, because it's easy for me to be like, well, I've shot 3-4 weddings here already, and I know some of the spots for photos. And I went into the day with a completely blank canvas, again, no expectations. And because of that, I got to like create some really exciting new different shots also on the inside of the building, because it was so hot and humid, they didn't want to go outside. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm just going to get extra creative, no expectations of going outside. Like, and so it didn't panic me. I didn't panic. So this is just a reminder for us not to put our couples into boxes, and get yourself out of the box, get your creativity out of the box. If you continue to shoot at the same location over and over again, I challenge you to arrive as if you've never been there before, as if you've never photographed anything before, as if you're seeing the exact way the light is hitting the trees, the grass. It's never been the same ever before, and it will never be the same. And we get to experience that and create in a whole new environment, if you really think about it. So this could be another way to even get you a little bit more excited about if you're starting to get bored of shooting at the same locations. Maybe you don't like to travel a lot. Maybe you do like to shoot at the same venues because you're a preferred vendor, right? Maybe this is a nice lesson as well for you to be like, you know what? Yeah, I can drop the fact that I've been there before, because it'll never be the exact same way it was, with the light, with the day, with the energy of the day, with the couple, with the personalities, the energy, everything. And again, remember guys, plants change. Even in the summer, I'm like, what? This tree looks totally different. It's only been a month and a half. So I always need that reminder that nature just also grows so quickly and changes the landscape. Let me see my notes here. So our couples and whoever we photograph, they deserve us to approach their experience, their session, like they are a blank canvas, right? How beautiful is that? And that way we could be totally present with who they are, their personalities, their energy, everything. So yeah, get inspired by them in the moment. And I totally know it could feel so scary going into a session, and it can feel nerve-wracking. I still get nervous before sessions because sometimes our brains can trick us. If I am just prepared ahead of time and I know these are the spots I shoot in, these are the spots that work, I know I can't screw up, like I know the poses I want to go with. If we stay in our box and we just approach the session so robotically, that is where we cut off our potential to try something new, to grow, to create something we've never really seen before, others have never seen before. That's the only way. You know those like Instagram photos you see pop up from other photographers where you're like, what? How did their minds even think of that? How did they capture that angle, that energy? I promise you, it's only by them getting out of their comfort zone and trying new things at sessions. And just remember, you can do that for 5-10 minutes of a session. Like you don't have to do that, or depending how long your session is, right? But every single session, I would say for sure, 10% of that time, do something totally different that you've never tried before. Try it out, because I promise you, the people you're photographing, they have no idea. And then you can gather data, like only you know in your head, I'm trying something new. They have no idea, right? And then when you're going through the photos later, when you're culling them, when you're reviewing the edits, whether you edit yourself or you have an editor, you get to then look at that information that's in front of you and be like, ooh, if I just did this differently, that shot would have been better. I'm going to try it next time, but again, with an improved technique or something like that, an improved approach, right? And that is how we start to create our own unique work that, others see for the first time. And they're like, wow, whoa, I've never seen that before, right? That's how we evolve. And that's how we end up getting so much more excited about our craft, feel so much more fulfilled throughout our season. It's those winning, exciting, creative shots where we're like, oh my God, I'm actually so proud of myself that I did that. So just remember to do that. And I know it could feel scary going up to a session and driving. I still feel like butterflies. I feel butterflies for sessions more than weddings. I feel like weddings are like, I'm there the story is there and I just have to notice it with all my senses, with my intuition. I have my skill honed in already, but of course I'm trying new things. But for me, it's like, it's a different feeling. And then I get butterflies on the wedding day when it's portrait time. So when I have to direct a little bit more and actually manufacture images using light, the couple, everything, that's when I get a little bit nervous. But then I notice that when I drop that nervousness and when I say, like, I can only do my best with what I know in the moment, and as long as I trust myself and I communicate the way that I want to in the moment and I'm fully myself, I think it comes down to every time I give myself permission to say what I want to the couple, to be fully myself, to co-create with them and tell them, be like, you guys, this is like a co-creation process. Like, as much as I can like give you direction and we're gonna find really cool spots, I need you to trust me and show up as your true, full, authentic selves, and just like let go of expectation, let go of even the thoughts of, oh, this pose doesn't feel like us, but be open and be present, because only when you're open and present with each other and fully present in this experience, that's how you'll feel even more connected to the photos. So there's more than that I say to couples with that, but it's just like, if both people are present, like us as the photographer and the couple, and we're just flowing and we're just like, okay, we're just going to do this, go with the flow. We're all going to just trust ourselves. That is where the magic happens, right? So what I tell myself before a shoot, and especially the moment when I get out of the car and I'm about to say hi to them and we're about to start the shoot, that's my most pinnacle nervous moment. I just pretty much just kind of like embody the feelings of trusting in myself in that moment. I'm like, I trust myself. I trust that I will know what to do in the moment. I am capable. I've been doing this for a long time. And whether you've been doing this for a year, 5 years, 6 years, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like really at the end of the day, you can still trust yourself because all of us are only able to do the best that we can with what we have in the given moment. And there's always a growth opportunity. So it's always just about, I will do my best in this moment and I'm just going to create how I know. And that's it. And it takes the pressure off, right? So yeah, I hope that this episode helped you in some way get re-inspired to, get creative and excited and to trust yourself in the process, whether you're shooting at a lot of the same locations or whether it's new locations, right? And just a reminder to let's not put our couples, whoever we're photographing, in a box. They are their own unique person. They have their own unique designated date and time for us to create together, and they deserve us to be fully there with them. No expectations. We're creating on a totally clear, brand new canvas, because no painter starts painting over top of a painting that they loved before and they're like, I want to recreate this so badly. Okay, I'm just gonna start with this canvas that I've already painted and paint over it. It doesn't make sense. We have to create from a new canvas, and the more that we unattach from results that we've had in the past, whether good or bad too, right? And the more we trust our instincts, because all of the lessons we've taken beforehand, from the mistakes we made in photography to our best photography we've ever done, we already have all those lessons within us, and we can literally access them in a moment, in a session. We see how the couple is acting with their energy. We see the light. We can trust our instincts to know how to marry the two and create images just for them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this shorter episode, and I cannot wait to hang out with you again in the next episode. And please, if you found this helpful, I would actually be so grateful if you could leave a review. I get so re-energized, and it's so helpful for me to be able to read the reviews and see how this podcast is impacting you, helping you along the way. A podcast is a lot of work and a lot of money invested to actually put it out into the world. So if you are getting value from this podcast, you haven't left a review yet, just go to Apple Podcasts. You can star rate it and then just literally take 2 minutes, write a couple sentences, even 1 minute. I would be so grateful. You can also go to Spotify and it's just a quick star rating. So if you're listening on this on Spotify, even a faster review. So that would be so meaningful. And finally, if you could think of 1 or 2 photographer friends that feel a little bit in a creative rut in the middle of the season, or feel like they would really get inspired from this quick episode, just share it with them, text it to them right now, send it over Instagram DMs, and then that way you're helping out a friend as well, and I'm able to reach more photographers and help more photographers, so it would mean so much. So thank you so much, and we'll hang out in the next episode. Bye!
Yay! Thank you so much for hanging out with me and tuning into this episode. If you got value out of it, please feel free to message me on Instagram at Sarah Monica Photo. That's Sarah no H, Monica with a K, photo, to let me know. I get so freaking energized hearing from others that what I've said has had a positive impact on their lives. Also, make sure to hit subscribe to the Shine and Thrive podcast to never miss an episode. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm sending you all the productive vibes your way so you have the best week ever.